Hey guys, middle school. So we're at the end of Luke chapter 2 and wanted to just talk to you real quick about Jesus as a rabbi. A lot of people don't know about this. It's not something a lot of people have thought of, but I think it's kind of cool that Jesus was a student, just like you guys. He was a student from the time he would have been about 4 or 5 years old. All the Jewish boys were sent on what's called the rabbinical path, every single one of them. And that's a lot of studying. They have to memorize the law and the prophets, everything that existed for the Old Testament to that point. The first 5 books of the Hebrew scripture called the Pentateuch. They had to basically be memorizing that and be very familiar with what the prophets said. And it's kind of cool when you think about Jesus growing up and his brain is developing as a young human. Even though he was God in the flesh, he was also subject to the limitations of humanity. And so, as his brain is developing and he's in school to be a rabbi and he's learning, it occurs to him, I think, at some point, probably at a very young age, probably at 6 years of age, maybe even 5 years of age, that he's the Messiah. He's reading Isaiah 53, and it's about the suffering Messiah that will, bleed for his people. And by his stripes we are healed, and all those great prophetic passages Isaiah wrote. And Jesus realizes, this is me. I'm the one that will fulfill this. So I always just thought that's kind of a cool thing that may have happened. But in any case, I wanted you guys to know about this. I might do this in a couple of segments. These videos time out at about 5 minutes, so you might have an A and a B here. But Jesus was, the common view is that he was uneducated from northern Israel, and they only called him a rabbi because he was wise, but he hadn't actually earned that. So it'd be like calling me Dr. Court just because you think I'm smart, but I haven't earned my doctorate. And nobody would really do that unless you earn it. They're not going to call you doctor, or you certainly shouldn't be because you haven't gone through that level of education. And it was the same in Jesus' time. Certainly his opponents, the Pharisees, the religious leaders, who he was always going head to head with not giving him the respect of calling him rabbi unless he'd earn it, and yet they did. People called him rabbi everywhere he went. So there's the indication there that Jesus was wearing and indicating by his teaching and preaching and was known to be an accredited rabbi. Okay. He was a scholar. When you read the New Testament very carefully, you find out he was a scholar. The problem was that the Judean Jews assumed that the Galilean Jews were from the wrong side of the tracks, from the ghettos of Jerusalem and those kinds of things, because the Galilean Jews lived down by the seashore where there was all kinds of trade and interaction with other people groups, and the Judean Jews lived closer to the temple, and they thought, well, if you live down by the seashore and you're interacting with all those unsavory people, then you are a compromised Jew, and we're the true Jews, we're the real Jews. So it was a lot of conceit and vanity and arrogance and just looking down their nose at Jews who they didn't consider to be in the upper echelon of Judaism. So they kind of treated Jesus like that. At one point somebody said, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" So he was looked down upon, one of the less desirable Jews of his time, which is ironic because he was Jesus and he was the most perfect Jew. He was the most perfect man to ever live. Um, well, the only perfect. I shouldn't say the most perfect. The only perfect. None of the rest of us even come close. So John 7:15 was an assumption based on those prejudices. They were amazed and they asked, "How did this man get such learning without having studied?" And critics, detractors of this theory that Jesus was a rabbi, say, well, they're saying that he didn't study right there. But the only reason they said that is because they were prejudiced. They were accusing him of not having studied, but I think they knew that he was a rabbi. They were just jealous of the following he was getting, because he did teach as someone who has authority. So we don't know a lot about Jesus' childhood except for Luke chapter 2, verse 41 through 52, when he was found teaching in the temple. Did you ever wonder how he had such vast knowledge at the age of 12? I believe he was in rabbinical school at that time. That's what was going on. So it looks like I'm approaching the stopping point. From that time, I'll pick up with video. This is video A. I'll pick up in just a minute with video B. Thanks, guys.